Hello guys, welcome back here to my channel. It's been a while. In this episode is going to be a simple way to use a CSV raw data from a GitHub repository on an IDE. So there's going to be other stages of playing with a raw data. Okay, I'm going to show you how to fetch the data, plot a histogram with data, and a heat map with the existing data. So using the necessary modules or libraries as well as their code, the libraries like Pandas, Matplotlib, and Seaborn. So Pandas, well, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Pandas. But Panda is a Python library used for working with data sets. So it has functions for analyzing, cleaning, exploring, and manipulating data. So basically, you can use you can use MATLAB pandas to build up a data to display a set of data on a data frame. That's it helps it just for a clearer understanding. Pandas would give you that access to be able to display your data on a data frame. So that's what the pandas module is for. And secondly, the matplotlib is an amazing visualization library in Python. So with matplotlib, you can be able to um, plot your data using a pie chart, or well, there are basically other things that you can use that for. Okay, so you can also do a histogram with it and a lot more. And thirdly, we have our seaborn. Okay, so all of this are going to be what I'm going to show you on this episode. Okay, well, the episode is going to be in different stages. The first one is to create the data on an Excel sheet, like here. I'm going to create the data, then save it as a CSV format, and then take it up to GitHub, create a repository for that, put it there, and then use the raw data from GitHub so we can be able to access the data on GitHub with our IDE. Okay, all right. Okay, so let me just paste the raw data here. Okay, so this is the piece of data that I have, and I will be working with this. Now you can see here we have different columns and rows here. For the column, we have the name, age, gender, years of experience. We have a yearly bonus of this worker. So these are worker salary earners, and these are their salary, and this is the country, and this is the city, respective cities that they are working in. And we have their number of vacations here, and we have their profession and their contract duration. So let's just use, for example, you are HR, and these are the piece of data that you want to show to your boss that you have been working on. So your boss wants to see the names of the people that are working under him, wants to get all of these details for himself. And he would need you to be able to explain this thing in a pictorial format, in a pictorial presentation. Well, there are different ways to go about it. Well, here you have your raw file, and you want to do this in a more pleasant way. So first of all, you have your file on your Excel sheet, and I'm just going to make this easier for you. First of all, I'm just going to save this on or as a CSV file. So I'm just going to create a folder for this work. Okay. So this is going to be on my desktop. Okay, and I'm going to create a new folder for this, and it's going to be my underscore raw data. I'm just call this data set. Okay, and let's open this, and I'm going to rename this. I'm just going to call this raw data set, and then save it as a CSV format. So here we have this. This is what I'm going to be using: CSV, comma, delimited. Now if you look down, we have other options here. This is CSV for Macintosh and CSV for MS-DOS. But for this purpose, I would be using the CSV, comma, delimited. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do. I'm just going to click on that and then save it in that format. Okay, so yes, that is what I'm going to be working with. All right, so that is done. The next stage is to, all right, so now to ensure that this has been saved in that format, I'm just going to go to the folder. Is it on my desktop? And I'm just going to place my cursor here to be sure that this thing has been saved. Or rather, you can go to the type and let's see here. Now we have it on our Microsoft Excel, comma, separated values, which is CSV for short. Okay, so now we are sure that this data has been saved as a CSV format. The next stage is to go to your browser. So I'm now going to push this down to my GitHub. Okay, so I'm just going to go GitHub. Let's see, go there. Okay, I already have other things there. Okay, so this is my GitHub account, and I want to create a repository for that folder for that data that I have already created for my Excel. I'm just going to go here, new, click on new repository. Next is to give a repository name. So I could just call this my underscore data set. Okay. All right. This is optional, making this public. Okay. You can decide to do any of that, but this is just going to be easy. I'm just going to create this repository. And after that is done, I would want to then upload the existing file, the existing data that I have here on my desktop. So I'm just going to go down here and click on uploading an existing file. Then I'll choose here, and this should take me to where I will be able to locate my folder. This is on my desktop. I saved this on my desktop. And then I'm going to look for the folder. So the folder is my raw data, and this is it. So I'm just going to open this, take the data that is there, click on it, open this, and then it's right here. It's been uploaded. All right, so this is successful. After that, I'm going to commit the changes. So this is to ensure that this file has been saved on this repository that I have opened, or rather I have created for it. So after that is done, I'm just simply going to click on that raw data set, just so that we are sure that this thing has been successfully uploaded and is going to be displayed the way that I want it to be displayed, or rather what we have seen already from our Excel here. I want to see the same thing on my GitHub. Okay, so this is the piece of data from the Excel sheets that I have created already. Now you can see the columns and the rows are corresponding to each other, just the way we have it on our Excel down here. Okay, so that is done. I can simply just close this Excel because I won't be needing that again. So this is what I'm going to be working with. Okay, so after this stage, this needs to be saved. Yes. Yes, you want to keep working with that. Yes, I want to keep working with that format. Okay, so now for the next stage is because now I have kept this, I have put this in my repository on GitHub here. So the next stage is I'll have to go down and then open. So I'm going to be making use of this Google Collab, just a simple IDE on Google that I'll be working with here. Okay, so I'm just going to use that dot research. Okay, this is it, and I will be using this for this purpose. Okay, I would create a new that. Okay, guys, so you can decide to make use of any ID of your choice. That depends on you. I'm just making use of this one because it's quite easier for me. So there are other options you can use to also access your data. It's still the same process, it's still the same Python, okay? So we're going to be using, I have other IDEs like PyCharm, Visual Code, and all the rest of them. But I chose to use this. It depends on you, and it's optional. You can decide to use any IDE of your choice. Okay, so this is it. And here I'm just going to name this. Let's call this my data set. That is it. Okay, so now for the first stage is to, now I have opened this stage. I want to be able to fetch the data from my, first, what I'm going to do is to import pandas as PDE first here. So I'm going to start by importing pandas. Okay, like I said, pandas enables us to be able to display the data on a data frame, just as we're seeing this here. So we're going to be able to view it on that format using Pandas. Pandas gives us that access to do so. So after I have imported Pandas, I want to then be able to access the link from the link of this data that is here. So in order to build up, rather to create the link for that, you can go here. We have here where you can copy the raw file, or you can simply just click on raw. So this raw is just going to automatically create a link for you down here, and then you just copy the link and then paste it and then be able to get this data. Okay, so let's just watch how this is going to happen. This is going to happen, is just going to change up here. That's where you get your data, or you can simply just go here and copy the file. But I would want us to see this right here, how this is going to work. In case you have the second option. Why this is taking a while, I'm just going to simply go here and then just start by giving the code for fetching the data. So I'm just going to use this variable df. The df is short for data frame. I'm just going to say df pd. So now I'm calling pandas to be able to help me to display this data on a data frame. So I'm just going to call pd I'm using PD here because this is what I want to use as short. That is why he said import pandas as PD. Okay, so now pandas dot read. Now I want to read that file, and it is a CSV file. Okay, so I'm specifically using CSV because mine was saved in CSV. So depending on the format that you're using, you just have to include it. You just have to make sure it's included. That's the only way we're able to locate that particular file that you're calling to display it for you. So after that is done, I'm just going to give this here and then go back here. Now you can see that this has changed. We have our raw data here, which is, and this is the data set that I've created. So like I said, the data is going to be created here, or you can simply just copy it from the GitHub itself. All right, so now I'm just going to copy this link from here and then go back to my IDE and then just paste it here. So after that is done, I would want this to be displayed for me. So I'm just going to print this variable that I've created for this. Okay, and then I will run this. Hmm. Okay, guys, there it is. This is it. This is the data that I have here. Now you can see, let me go back to what we have over here. Okay, so now we have fetched this data that is stored on our GitHub. We can now access it via our IDE. A simple thing is just to ensure that data is saved on the format of your choice, and then you put it down to you push it down to your GitHub, and then create a raw file for it. You copy that file, you copy the raw link, and then you'll be able to access that link with this way that I have done it here. Okay. All right, so this is just the first stage of doing this. Like I said, I'm going to fetch the raw data and display it on a data frame. So this is the data frame. Okay, there are other ways you can also make this easier for you. So you can also just say um, this is D. Let me just try to print just the head of this data frame that I have here. So you're just going to show me the columns alone. Okay, sorry, this is the heading. So this is just made it easier for us instead of giving us the long values for the columns. It rather just shortened it for us. But if you want to access just the columns, which is just the heading, this name, age, gender, and all that, you can simply just go down here and print it out. So print df dot columns. Let's see. Now print that out. Okay, now you can see. So in this way, you want to, if you have a long list of data with lots of values for that, and you just want to be able to see the columns for that data, you can just use this format and you'll be able to see the columns that you have there. So with the columns, you can access the data on each column. So right here, I have a total of, I think, 10 columns so far. I think so. So that is just it. So if you want to just print out everything, you can just print, say print df. So this is just going to print out everything for you. Okay, there it is. All right, so I hope this was helpful. Another time, I'm going to show you how to use this all of this piece of data to create um, to plot a histogram and a heat map. Okay,